Check 1, 2. Before we get started, Mayor Pacercia is traveling today, so I'm filling in for him. Megan, would you please read the statement of presiding officer?
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting, specifically the date, time, and public information were included in the meeting that was electronically sent to the Echo Statenol and posted on the township website. The agenda and public handouts for this meeting can be viewed online at www.longhillnj.gov. A public comment period will be held in the order it is listed on the meeting agenda.
I'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Megan, would you please take the roll?
Committeeman Dorsey?
Here.
Committeeman Ray?
Present.
Committeeman Verleza?
Present.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Here.
And Mayor Pacercia may or may not be attending via Zoom. As of right now, he is not on.
Very good. All right. So first thing up, we have Scott Everton from PSE&G. He's the Senior Public Affairs Manager. He's going to do a presentation for us. Scott? Megan, you got the microphone? And do we have slides that we're showing?
I can put up the maps that they handed out to you guys.
Okay.
You're gonna put it up? Why don't you just put it up anyway?
Welcome. Thanks for coming, gentlemen.
No problem. Thank you so much for having us, Deputy Mayor. I was hoping that Mayor Pacercia would have been here. I've known Guy for about 30 years, and we have always worked closer together. I'm very involved in Morris County. I've been on the Morris County Planning Board for about 29 years. And Morris tomorrow, and the Morris League of Municipalities, I've seen Guy at many of their meetings, so I know him quite well. So tell him I say hi when you see him. My name is Everton Scott. I'm the Senior Public Affairs Manager for PSCG with Long Hill Township as a part of my responsibilities. And we're just here to frame for you just a background as to what we're doing in terms of our capital improvement plan for Long Hill Township. Last year, we had a settlement with the Board of Public Utilities, and they approved about $902 million for us to spend to modernize our aging gas infrastructure throughout the state. We serve approximately about 300 municipalities, and this has been done throughout all the municipalities that we serve. And so we're enhancing safety and reliability and helping New Jersey customers meet our clean energy goals. Now, like I said, we expect to spend about $902 million over 2 years. The extension of the program allows PSE&G to continue to update its existing gas distribution system to improve reliability and reduce greenhouse gases by approximately about 54,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide. And then also by replacing about 400 miles of aged pipes with modern ones. So that's just the extension. So right now we're aiming to do reduce 54 metric tons of CO2 and replace 400 miles of aged pipes with modern pipes. Although nearly 1,800 miles of cast iron and unprotected steel mains have been replaced in recent years, we remain the nation's utility with the most cast iron gas mains underground, bar none. Those cast iron mains and service lines are typically about 70 to 100 years old. And it's gotten to a point now where they have to be changed. In fact, we had an agreement with the Google and the Environmental Defense Fund, where we actually outfitted a Google car and had the Google car drive through at our service territory to look at what we're getting in terms of methane leaks. And when the results came back, we were surprised And so we went to the BPU with this, and the BPU says yes. With the Energy Master Plan and with the clean energy goals that the governor has, that we really should make it our plan to change these pipes out. Now, natural gas has been the most affordable heating option for millions of New Jersey customers for years, and we're pleased to continue our balanced approach to decarbonization while meeting today's energy demand. So, what are the benefits of this gas system modernization program, or GSMP? Well, first, we will be prioritizing and replacing pipelines most prone to leaks. Leaks mean excavated roads. Leaks mean a tug and war between myself and Megan in terms of, and Randy in terms of coming in to get permits to go search for leaks and then to repave the roads and so on and so forth. So we're trying to move away from that by being proactive and replacing the lines. We also, as a result of the higher pressure, so right now, the where we're gonna be doing the upgrades right now. It's high pressure. Okay, but in most instances, with GSMP, we go from a low pressure to a high pressure. So we go from about 7 pounds. Yeah, 7 to about 15 pounds. And so, for example, it allows customers to go out and purchase high energy efficiency appliances. And for example, if you wanted to, in the past, if you wanted to, let's say, buy a generator, a backup generator, you'd have to come to us, we'd have to go out, take measurements, get an idea of what your needs are, and then run new mains or new services based on your needs. With the GSMP program and with the higher pressure in the lines, there's no need to do that. We're also, the immediate reduction of leaks by installation of new pipes that can also deliver emerging lower carbon alternative fuels. So for example, we're looking at putting hydrogen through these lines if it ever comes to that. Right now, it's just natural gas, but if it ever comes to hydrogen, we'll be using hydrogen also. And we're ensuring that customers' power sources remain affordable and diversified. And of course, we're employing quite a few New Jersey natives and contractors, and so we think that that's good for the economy. Just to close, in 2014, PSEG began to accelerate the upgrading of its gas system by replacing aged pipes with state-of-the-art gas lines. We're about a third done, having replaced 1,450 miles of gas lines. We've reduced methane emissions by 30,000 tons of carbon dioxide from 2011 to 2022. And that's the equivalent of taking 65,000 cars off the road. And so the second phase of GSMP was completed last year. And of course, again, we went in, we filed with the Board of Public Utilities. They agreed to have us spend $902 million on the extension into this year. And that's going to carry us to 2025, when we'll go into them and have another discussions about how far they'll allow us to go. So that's the program in a nutshell. In terms of what's happening in Long Hill itself, I'll turn it over to Eric, and Eric can explain that to the governing body.
My name is Eric Adams, Senior Gas Construction Supervisor. Everton went over the program, but if you're looking at the map that Megan has up here, also Megan, is it a way that you could split the screen to put the street list?
Eric, what do the colors mean on that map?
So the colors mean this is going to be, so if you're looking at the key at the bottom, the black lines mean that we're going to be installing 2-inch.
Yep.
The red line means we're going to be doing 4-inch. The blue line means we're going to be doing 12-inch. So if you look at the street list that we provided you, you can look the streets that we're going to be working on. We're going to be installing about a little bit over 36 1,000 feet of main and services in Long Hill.
So only on the streets on this page.
Yes.
And
So
so,
it'll be the street that we're actually working on, and they'll give you the two in-between streets, the two intersections.
What's the time frame?
The time frame should take us all the way until like June of 2025.
Okay.
and when would you start?
I'm looking to start next month,
Tomorrow.
ready to go. Yeah, so let me give you a little background on how we get started. So we have an outreach team. Outreach team, I can give you a number. The number is 1-833-661-6300. So this line is manned all the time. Within 24 hours, someone will call you back. So before we start a project, we do mailers, we do door hangers, we do reverse 911 calls, and we also give all this information to the town.
So let me ask you a question, just so I'm interpreting this correctly. I'm looking at row number 4, Long Hill Road, between Basking Ridge Road and Division.
Yes.
And so, does that include that route plus all of the spurs off of that?
No.
Okay,
So we're gonna, on that road, we're gonna be installing 12-inch main,
yep.
about 2,220 feet,
Okay, so it's just down that main drag.
just down that main drag.
Got it. And so all the spurs are going to stay as is?
And which road is that on the map? Kenny?
Well, I'm looking at like Cross Hill Road and Church Road, Taft, and Sunny Slope, as well as
Can I come up there?
Nolendale.
Can you put it on the map?
It's
Megan, can you show me on the map?
it's the upper top, the long road that goes into Basking Ridge and all the way out to,
Yeah, directly in the middle of the map, right where those two red vertical lines kind of meet.
Oh, no, those are all done.
They're
So
all-
if you're looking at the map, if they're not bold,
Yeah.
that mean they're already done.
Got it. So they're staying as is.
Just staring at it.
Got it. Okay,
I
cool.
would need to do work in those intersections. I would need to tie them into the new main,
Yeah.
but no other work involved.
Got it.
While this is being done, how long, say for example, let's make up a road here, I live on Clover Hill Road. I live on Clover Hill Road. While you're doing that work, how long is my gas off for?
Well, your gas is never off until we make an appointment. So what we do, we install the main first. After we install the main, we make an appointment with you to transfer your service to the new main, and then that's when your gas will be off, probably about 4 hours,
Okay, and then
up to 4 hours.
But everybody knows when it's gonna be done and.
Yes, we need to
Okay.
make an appointment with you
All right,
first.
perfect, thank you.
And so many residents are getting notices that PSE&G wants to come in and change their meters and stuff like this. Is this related to this
No.
project?
No, it's something totally different.
Okay.
So those meters being changed, that's selective sampling. So they just need to be changed just because of their age. It's a totally different program.
Okay.
Yes. So a lot of our work is trench work. So what we do work, but in the road and behind the curb, and we're going to relocate most of the meters to the outside if we can. And the reason why we need to bring them outside is the more that, as far as it's not safer, but it's more in compliance. So if you do have a gas leak, we can shut it off from the outside.
And so for a resident who maybe has been in their house 30, 40 years, should they be concerned if service to their house through their lawn was never upgraded? or-
Yes, we will upgrade it when we come through.
Okay.
So when we come through, we will lay the new main, we will replace your service and relocate your meter to the outside.
So some folks may have some digging going on through their property.
Yes,
Got it.
yes. And we do follow up with landscaping.
Got it. Okay.
And you also have that number, so if they have any questions, this is only for our program, that number. So if they have a gas leak, please don't call it.
Well, thank you. That's very helpful.
All right?
and one thing that I want to add, because you'll see a road on here called Northfield.
You're gonna start there
The
first.
we met with these gentlemen about a month ago, and we said, hey, we got a problem. You guys got to get into Northfield yesterday to get that done. So they're rearranging the whole project to get Northfield done first.
Yes, we're gonna start on
Because they
Northfield.
understand we're going to be
Repaving,
going out to
yeah.
bid for reconstruction of that road. So they understand that, and they're working with us to get that done ASAP.
And this work will be done by a contractor, but we also will have a PS supervisor overseeing the project. For the project? like June 2025.
So it's a year.
So for any particular stretch of road, like if you're a resident, you want to know how many days or weeks construction's going to be on in front of your house, how quickly does it move down the street?
Usually it depends on the size of the main, like 2-inch, I'm usually able to get like 250 feet a day. 12-inch is somewhere like 120. And 4-inch, I'm around the same 200 mark, about 180.
Okay.
So we'll also do outreach like 2 weeks look ahead when we actually start the project.
Yep.
So everyone will know exactly where we'll be at any moment.
And we make sure that Megan and Randy also gets a schedule in terms of where we're gonna be, with a look ahead schedule, so they'll know if they get called in terms of, you know, what's going on with the project.
Right, so Public Service will do their customer outreach. They'll give us information where we'll do our outreach, posting on the website and other areas that will let the public know what's going on.
You got it.
First thing was to, as far as the scheduling's concerned, if we could have that communicated to the emergency services,
Sure.
because some of these roads are going to be closed or difficult to pass, so we need to know that. And so that's more of you to Randy, and then Randy, I guess, you'll let us know in the fire and squad, right? Then the other question that came to me was, some roads are on moratoriums, and so is there going to be full restoration
Yes.
immediately after
Yes,
that?
any road under the moratorium will be full restoration.
Okay.
And we also work closely with PD when we're doing traffic control.
Right.
So,
Yep.
And any road that's not under moratorium will be curb to center line.
Okay.
A curb to center line or curb to curb.
Right.
unless Randy wants to work something out, and we can.
So my last question, this is really just curiosity. You mentioned many of these pipes are 70, 100 years old, and you're putting in new pipes capable of hydrogen. So that's very interesting. Is that potential green fuel in the future? I mean, hydrogen burns, the residue is water when it's left over,
Yeah,
right?
we do, in Woodbridge right now, we do have a pilot program where we're working with hydrogen. Where right now the results aren't clear yet, but it's something that we're pursuing with the Board of Public Utilities, and it's something that we're looking into. If the state ever takes a position like California did, where we can no longer sell natural gas, I do not see New Jersey.
I get you. Continue.
Yes, but yeah. So yeah, we're working on hydrogen right now, and I believe by the end of this year we should have some idea as to the direction in which we would move forward.
And what's the material these pipes made out of?
Plastic,
Plastic?
yes.
It's
Yeah.
a composite plastic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's rubber. It's something between rubber and plastic.
Yeah, it's flexible, non-breakable.
Yes.
It's not going to rust.
Yes.
It's subject to
No
compression,
corrosion.
all that stuff.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
high-tech material.
yes.
Correct, and it, you know, it's funny because you have cast iron buried in the ground, and because it's iron, and there's chemical reactions, and breaks the pipe down, and so with this plastic, it's found that those kind of chemical reactions don't happen, and so the pipe tends to stay, you know, safer, more durable for longer. So I'm hoping that for the next 100 years, we won't have to come back into Long Hill and do anything there. Maybe for the next 200 years.
Maybe
I
the-
won't be around, but.
Just out of interest, where is that pipe being used? Like, what kind of history do we have in other parts of the country with that pipe? It's just a point of interest. Have we used? You know,
All
just
over the world. Yeah, yes. And that is the name of the company that we use.
right.
So any new installs have been using this for a while, I would imagine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We started using this way before 2014,
I think
but in terms of, you know, en masse, we started using this in 2014, but we were using it before that.
Before that, I think somewhere like 87, somewhere around there.
Ah, okay.
Interesting. You learn something new every day. Thank you.
It's about 87.
We good?
Any more questions?
I think we're good. Thank you very much. This is
Thank you.
very
All right,
informative.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Next up, we have our annual audit presentation. Andrew Kaczynski from Nisvakia, come on down.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm here to present on the results of your 2023 audit. You all should have gotten your big giant green books with all that information. Not yet?
Not Matt.
Oh, well, all right. But I did give Megan, and she's handing them out now, a little 2-page synopsis of the results of the audit that pretty much give you the financial highlights that you need to be aware of, as well as the management suggestions and recommendations. So if you just look on the first page of that handout that I provided, you'll see that the current fund for 2023 had revenues of $48.8 million. Included in that was $1.9 million of fund balance that we used in the budget, and we had expenditures of $47 million. So current fund balance decreased by about $200,000 in 2023 from $3.4 million in 2022 to $3.24 million in 2023. Our tax collection rate, once again, came in excellent. We were 99.19%, which is wonderful. Anything over 99 is great. So great job there for the tax collector. And the parking lot and facilities utility fund, for 2023, we had $163,000 of revenue, which included $42,000 of fund balance, and we had $102,000 of expenditures. So the fund balance decreased there by about $40,000 in 2023 from $305,000 in 2022 to $264,000 in 2023. On to the next page. We did have 2 management suggestions. So one of them is an old one. We'll get to that one next. But the first one is a new GASB statement that's come out regarding compensated absences and the way that that all has to be accounted for and accrued going forward. Really not a big change for us, honestly. We're pretty much already there, but it's just something that now they've formalized the standard. So we wanted you to all to be aware of it. We're going to have to do a little bit extra next year, I guess, when it comes down to doing the compensated absence testing. But like I said, we're pretty much already there already, so nothing really to worry about. Just wanted to give you a heads up that that is something that has changed. And the second one, as I said, is just reference back to COVID federal funding, which I think this has been in there now for what feels like an eternity for all of us, I'm sure, but it's just saying that all of that COVID money that was sent out, that was granted, that they are sending out and they are doing reviews of the use of those funds, and especially now that we're coming to kind of the end period for the American Rescue Plan, we thought it was pertinent to keep on leaving this in, at least for the time being, seeing as we're going to have to spend the rest of it in all municipalities, anyone that was granted it in the next 2 years, and we have to have it fully encumbered by the end of 2024. So again, it's been repeated. It's been there for a couple of years now, so nothing really to worry about. You did have 2 recommendations in the report this year. The first recommendation has been there for quite some time, and we're all familiar with it, so I'll just briefly say about the segregation of duties. Out of 100 clients, 99 of them have this. So it's very common. It just has to do with the duties that are with authorization, recording, and reporting, that being the size of a municipality, it's held by more people having those duties than would the standard like to see. So again, it's nothing. It's no issue. We do have compensating controls in place for this. We don't have any issues that we've seen of anything regarding segregation of duty issues. We do have some mitigating controls, but again, being that they're not fully segregated, we do have to include it. The second one is in reference to the tax title liens of the township. So we've had a little bit of difficulty getting the tax title lien dollar value that's in the financial statements to agree back to what's in the tax collector's records. So we've been sorting through that a little bit, and it's kind of something that I know that like Randy's been working with it a little bit already, but it's something that came to our attention, and we just feel like it should be, they should agree. The amount that we have on our financial records should agree to the tax collector. Now, that being said, it doesn't have any real financial impact on the town per se. The amount that goes onto your balance sheet for the tax title liens is directly offset by what's called revenue accounts receivable. So it doesn't have any effect on your fund balance, doesn't have any effect on your cash. It's fully offset, that asset of tax title liens receivable, by this reserve for the receivable. So it's just in, out, both sides of the balance sheet. I know it's probably simple for me, a little bit more complicated for all of you to just get that one. I'm sure Randy's on the same page with me, though, at least. That much I get. But other than that, really good job by all of your staff in your office. Randy's always extremely responsive. Worked really well with him. He's always getting our requests to us as quickly as possible. So I just wanted to say thank you to him, his staff, and of course Megan as well. And if anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
I just have two. Were any employees making any Facebook Marketplace purchases in 2023?
Not that we saw.
And were any employees using personal credit cards for purchases in 2023?
Not that we saw.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Before we, thank you, Andrew. That's great. Really
Very
appreciate it. Megan, once we adopt these, will these be available by PDF on the website? Are they there now, or is it like in a few days?
Well, most likely tomorrow at some point, it'll be.
Okay, this week.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, given that there's no more questions on that, then we have two, are these resolutions or ordinance? These are resolutions. 24-189, which is the governing body certification of the annual audit, and 24-190, which is the audit corrective action plan. Before I go there, Randy, do you want to just summarize our corrective action plan? And this is the corrective action plan for the two recommendations: maintaining segregation of duty and the tax title liens.
Yeah, there's, as Mr. Kaczynski said, the segregation duties has been there. It's actually it's probably my whole career it's been in my audits, because I've worked for small municipalities, relatively speaking. And most municipalities, they weigh the cost factor with the benefit factor, and 90% of the time the cost factor far exceeds the benefit factor. So we put that in the writing, that, and we do try to mitigate that by I do a couple things we did actually just recently, and we're working with the banks. I review the financials each month, the bank reconciliations, the check registers. I review on a biweekly basis with the meetings, and review sporadic things at different times. We have set up a what's called a positive pay program with the bank, where we will send them the check listings, and they will only cash checks on those listings. And if anything comes up that's not on the listing, they send myself and Deb Gupta an email saying, hey, this is a discrepancy, what do you want us to do with it? Sometimes it's just that it's on the list, it comes in at a different amount or something like that. So, but we're working with that. We also have a two-person verification for wire transfers and NAACHs. We do very minimal wires and even less ACHs to correct that. The second one with the tax title liens, actually, Mary and I have been working on that for a period of time, because we've realized that this dates back quite a while. We think what happened when we made a change from Edmunds to a different program for tax collection back in 2000, I want to say 14, there was errors that were brought over, okay? So when we went back to Edmunds this recent 2-3 years ago, it became very apparent that there was mistakes, and we were doing the research. Mariana and I have, mostly Marianne, have come up with all the discrepancies. Now we're working with Edmunds on how to get it into the system, apart from going back 20 years ago and putting it in quarter by quarter, because these are very small amounts, but they do add up, and like Andrew said, we want to make sure that all the numbers are in the same balance. So we will be correcting that as soon as we get the guidance from, because the admins or computer company is working with us on try to figure out the best way to do that.
Good. All right. Any questions for Randy? All right. Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve resolutions 24-189 and 24-190?
So moved.
Second?
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Ray?
Yes.
Committeeman Veleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Andrew, thank you very much, as always. We'll
Thank
see you next year.
Water bottle?
All right.
Have a night.
Take care.
Okay, moving along, ordinance 548-24. This is a first reading and introduction, amending an ordinance that amends section 146 of the Township Land Use Ordinance to include requirements for maintenance and repair of stormwater management systems. Jack, can you offer an explanation?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, this was actually prepared by the township engineer, I believe. But what it does is it includes things in our ordinances required by updated DEP regulations.
The only change that we're making to it is getting rid of the $50 fee. So we
Oh,
had done
okay.
this previously. The only change that we're doing was the recommendation at the last meeting, striking the $50 fee.
Right.
Got it.
So just, additional color on that. Previously, a resident that had one of these stormwater systems on their property, they would have to pay a $50 fee. Since that's a benefit to the neighborhood, we're taking that fee out, and so we're not charging the resident for it, so. Right,
Jack?
Jack?
Yes, correct.
Jack? Should Vic abstain?
Yes.
Yes, he has,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You're abstaining.
Right. So, any discussion from the dais? Nope? All right. Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 548-24?
So moved.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Ray?
Yes.
Committeeman Veleza?
Abstain?
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Okay, next. This is the second reading of ordinance 541-24 for the calendar year 2024, the model ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a cap bank. Randy, this is pretty much standard procedure year to year. Do you want to opine on this?
Yeah, this is a standard procedure where we take the appropriation cap. Each year, the state determines what you can increase your expenditures by, and it's directly related to cost of living increases. The highest it can go is 3.5%. So if it's not at 3.5%, you have to do an ordinance to increase it to 3.5%. Then you're allowed to bank the difference in expenditures for that year to 3.5%, and that stays in your bank, if you will, for 2 years. Now, the phrase bank is very misleading. It is not money. It's not cash. It's a safety net that if something, for instance, disastrous happens next year where we need to increase our appropriations above the cap allowance, it gives us room to do that. So far, we haven't had any kind of issues like that since I've been here since 2018. The instances we've had where we've had Hurricane Ida, that was already after the budget was adopted, and what we did was emergency appropriations that is allowable, and we took care of that in the following year budget. But this is part of the procedure to allow us to bank that extra money,
Okay.
extra appropriations, if you will.
So it's standard operating procedure year by year. It's financial prudence. It's a safety valve, and we've never tapped into it. Right?
Yeah.
We've never. Okay.
I don't know about never. I don't know about 20 years ago, but
Not in our
Not
memory.
recently.
How about
No,
that?
no.
Okay. Any comment from the dais? All right. I'll open the public hearing if there's any comments on ordinance 541-24. All right. Seeing none, Megan, if there's anybody, oh, I'm sorry. If there's anybody on Zoom,
If anybody on Zoom would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. I don't see anyone, Deputy
okay,
Mayor.
I'll close the public hearing. Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 541-24?
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Ray?
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Okay, next. Ordinance 542-24, second reading and adoption, salary and wages ordinance. Jack or Randy, do you want to comment on this?
Well, the change in the salary ordinance is to provide the town to have an option of hiring a police officer trainee. So what does that mean? That means that somebody that is not a certified police officer, or a licensed police officer, I should say nowadays, to allow the town to send them to the academy to get licensed at a lesser of a salary than what's in the PBA contracts.
To add to that, Mayor, I believe the Township Committee was also going to change the title of one of the employees.
Yeah, that's right. So Sean Brown was hired as Executive Administrative Assistant, reporting to Public Safety Director Mike Peoples. There's been a little bit of confusion as to Sean's role, both in the public and amongst employees, so we're going to clarify that. Not changing his role per se, salary or anything like that, but his title will be Deputy Public Safety Director, and I believe we can make that edit in the context of this second reading, right, Jack?
Yes, we can. Under Police Department, the current title is Executive Administrative Assistant. As you said, Mayor, we're changing it to Deputy Public Safety Director. So if we could have a motion to that effect, then you can vote on the ordinance as amended this evening.
Right, and that also is symmetrical with the fact that he's also Deputy OEM Director, so it kind of cleans things up. So can I have a motion to accept that amendment as read?
So moved.
I will second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Ray?
Abstain.
Committeeman Verleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Okay.
Open for public hearing.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, yes.
We need a public hearing.
Well,
We-
you're just amending it right now, and then you
Yes.
can open up the public
That-
hearing?
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Right,
So at
okay.
this point, I'll open up the public hearing. If anybody in the public would like to make a comment. Hi, please state your name and address for the folks at home.
Charles Arenowitz, Millington.
I'm glad to
You're-
see you're doing better, Chuck.
Thank you for your concerns in my emergency surgery, and things are going along slowly. With your just amendment, does that mean that we've got to modify any of the other ordinances or resolutions where we now have identified that we've got a Assistant Deputy Director of Public Safety? I guess that would go to Mr. Pigeon.
Yes, in fact, later this evening, that will be discussed for ordinance number 547-24. So it will be discussed during that.
Okay.
There will be changes made to that ordinance.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments in the room? Okay. Megan, anybody on Zoom?
If anybody on Zoom would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. I don't see anyone, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, I'll close public hearing. Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 542-24?
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Ray?
Abstain.
Committeeman Verleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Okay. Ordinance 543. This is second reading and adoption, establishing a construction records clearance certificate and supplementing and amending Chapter 29 of the Township Code entitled Uniform Construction Code and Construction Requirements. Now, I also understand that Jeff Heiss, our construction official, weighed in on this, and we may have reason to carry this, but before I go down that path, Randy, can you just explain to the folks at home what the intent of this ordinance was?
Hey, the intent of the ordinance is to make sure that when there's a property being transferred by ownership, that all outstanding permits are taken care of. We did talk to Mr. Heiss, and he and I talked a couple different times regarding some concerns we have if people want to buy a home as is, that are willing to pay, take care of the open permits and pay a fee to change the name on the permit, so be it, they should be allowed to do that, which wasn't really addressed in this ordinance. And so I think if you guys will consider to table this until the August meeting, when Mr. Heiss is here, we can make any kind of appropriate changes before we adopt this ordinance to try to take care of any issues that may come up. Obviously, I don't know if we can take care of all the issues, but at least try and take care of most of the issues.
Good. All right.
Table it.
Any comments? Nope. All right. So can I have a motion to carry the public hearing to the August 14th, 2024 Township Committee meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Ray?
Yes.
Committeeman Veleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Next, ordinance 544-24, second reading and adoption. An ordinance concerning police department discipline procedures and amending Chapter 2 of the Township Code entitled Administration. Jack, can you give a summary of this?
Yes, Mayor. This ordinance merely changes the references to the chief of police in the disciplinary process to the appropriate authority. It also changes the ability to appoint the hearing officer, changes that from the township committee to the appropriate authority. And that's a change we probably would have made even if we had a chief of police. It also provides that the hearing officer shall conduct the hearing and make recommended findings and conclusions to the appropriate authority, who shall forward them along with his or her recommendation to the township committee, which will have the ultimate authority to take disciplinary action against police officers.
Okay, so my understanding is that this then is in sync with state law regarding the responsibilities of the appropriate authority, and the appropriate authority being the hearing officer applies to cases of minor discipline, not major discipline.
That's correct.
In a case of major discipline, it goes to an outside hearing officer?
Exactly.
Okay. All right, so the net effect of this is getting ourselves in sync with state law. So any comment from the dais?
I just have a question. What is the, for example, typically, wouldn't it be in most departments, it's usually the appropriate authority is the hearing officer, not the chief of police?
That's correct. And we probably would have made, as I said, we probably would have made that change even if we did have a police chief at the current.
Okay, so this comports with, I guess, the AG guidelines?
Correct.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay. All right, seeing none, I'll open the public hearing. All right, seeing no comments in the courtroom. Anybody online?
Anybody on Zoom would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. I don't see anyone, Mayor.
Okay, so we'll close public hearing. Can I have a motion to approve ordinance 544-24?
So moved.
I'll second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Ray?
Abstain.
Committeeman Veleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Next, ordinance 545-24, second reading and adoption. An ordinance vacating paper streets known as Carroll Lane, Emmanuel Street. Jack, do you want to offer an explanation?
Yes, we've received this request for a number of years, and it's been put off. What it does is it vacates the public's interest in using the paper streets known as Carroll Lane and Manuel Street, which run off Long Hill Road down near the Chatham Township line. It vacates the public's right-of-way in those two streets, so the title will revert to the abutting property owners, probably half and half.
Okay. And this is just that property, no other paper streets?
That's correct. It's just these two streets. Carroll Lane, I believe, runs off Long Hill Road, and then it intersects with Manuel Street. Neither one of them goes anywhere, and none of them will ever be needed for public access.
Okay. Any comments from the dais? All right, seeing none, I'll open public hearing on this. Would anybody from the public like to opine? Okay, anybody online, Megan?
If anybody on Zoom would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. I don't see anyone, Deputy Mayor.
All right, we'll close public hearing. So can I have a motion to approve ordinance 545-24?
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Ray?
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Next, capital ordinance 546-24, second reading and adoption, providing for various improvements in and by the Township of Long Hill in the County of Morris, and appropriating $2,570,000, therefore, from various funds of the township. Randy, can you provide an explanation of this?
Yeah, this is our 2024 capital program. In it will take into consideration of our 2024 road overlay program. There is money to for police equipment. There's money for some fire equipment. There is recreation. One of the big, larger ticket items is the rehab and fixing of the tennis courts in Cantor Park. And we also have two road I say road projects. We have Long Hill Township Road, which is a DOT project. So that will be funding that, and we'll start doing work on that to get the specs done. And we do have a parking utility project of paving, repaving Millington parking lot with the parking lot and the cafe parking lot. And that's paid out of the parking utility.
Okay, and I believe we went into this in detail during the budget presentation last time
Correct.
around? Right.
Correct.
Okay, any comment from the dais?
No.
All right, I'll open the public hearing on ordinance 547-24. Would anybody like to say anything? Megan, anybody online?
If anybody on Zoom would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. I don't see anyone, Mayor.
Okay, I'll close public hearing. Could I have a motion to approve ordinance 546-24?
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Ray?
Yes.
Committeeman Verleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Okay, next. Ordinance 547-24, second reading and adoption, updating the police department organization chart by clarifying the duties of the public safety director and the law enforcement executive and amending Chapter 2 of the Township Code entitled Administration. I'll take a swing at the explanation on this. The original impetus for this ordinance was based on some guidance that we had gotten from the Morris County Prosecutor's Office that was seeking to clarify the separation of duties between the law enforcement executive and the public safety director. While we didn't get direct guidance on how that ought to be taken care of, we took an attempt at that with the ordinance that's in this package. But on further guidance from the prosecutor's office, they weren't completely satisfied with that, and there are changes that are recommended to us that I'm going to recommend some amendments tonight that we'll make to this ordinance and then send it back for another reading in August. So we're not going to vote on this tonight, but what we are going to vote on are amendments to this to align to what the prosecutor's office would like to see. And we can reserve our decision on it until August. So what those changes are, they prefer that we remove the position of chief of police and change the name of law enforcement executive officer to officer in charge, OIC. And the reason for that is to comply with a ruling that was made in North Brunswick, which sets some precedent as to, how those duties and responsibilities flow when a public safety director or police director is involved. This doesn't change any of the intent that we have of naming a chief of police, because we can just as easily go in and change this ordinance back in the future when we're ready to assign that position. But for the interim period, while we're still in that phase of figuring it out, we're going to take it out of the ordinance, or at least the changes that we're going to make are going to recommend taking it out of the ordinance. So to be very clear, I'd like to make a motion that we amend this ordinance, removing the section on chief of police and editing the section on the positions where it says one chief of police, one captain, 2 lieutenants. We cross out chief of police, we do 1 captain, 3 lieutenants, right? So we're increasing the number of lieutenants. We change the wording of law enforcement executive to officer in charge. And Jack, did I cover all the relevant changes?
I think you covered everything. One minor change that we also made, Deputy Mayor, was that we more closely track the language of the North Brunswick decision.
Right.
Because that's the case that the prosecutor's hanging his hat on.
Right, and I believe you've had some conversations with Morris County and.
That's correct. I've spoken to
Right.
Assistant Prosecutor Naparano on
Right.
several occasions.
And it's kind of interesting because we did not get written guidance when we put together the first version of this, and our inclination was to leave that chief of police title in there. But when they made it clear that according to the precedent of that particular thing, it was best that it came out, well, then we got written guidance, so that's good.
Yeah, and that was their main point. They said the position of chief cannot be in the ordinance, even though the Township Committee intends to reestablish that position in
Right.
the future.
Right, so Vic and Matt, I know you feel strongly about, our intent in the future to have a chief, as I feel the same way. I just want to be clear tonight, what we're voting on is to amend the language in this so it comes back for a vote next month. So we're not asking you tonight to agree to this, we're just asking you to agree to the
Right.
amendment.
Voting yes to amend and reserving our right to vote no in
Right,
August.
and I understand you want to do your
Correct.
due diligence, and, that's what
Correct. Yes.
the wheels of government grind ever so finely. All right, so, can I have a motion to amend ordinance 547-24 as stated? I will make the motion.
And also, we're continuing the public hearing on the ordinance as amended until August 14th, and Megan will publish the amendments.
Right.
Right.
I made the motion.
So moved.
Okay.
Second?
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Rai?
Abstain.
Committeeman Veleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. I'm sorry, Chuck, there's no.
It's a procedural question.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Reynolds, Militant. Procedural question. If the prosecutor's office gets the opportunity to review this ordinance at its proposed second reading, why can't we comment on it prior to comment now as well as in August? I mean, why do they get priority over the taxpayer? So can we comment tonight on what you just discussed? That's the question.
You can comment in open public session, please.
No. What I'm asking is, the prosecutor's office has commented on this, correct?
The prosecutor's office has talked to us about it, yes.
Oh, okay. Why can't we talk to you tonight about it?
You can certainly do that at the end of the meeting.
That's
in
not
open
what I'm
public
asking.
session.
I want to do it now, because I only have 3 minutes there.
All right, no. We're going to do it later according to process, because, Matt, Jack,
The motion's already been adopted.
the motion's already been adopted to carry this. You're going to have plenty of time next month. You have plenty of time at the end of this meeting.
But understand my logic.
I understand your logic. I don't agree with it. That's okay. I just don't agree with it.
So they take priority over the taxpayer, is that correct?
They supervise the police department.
They supervise the police department, correct. They look at more than just this. All right,
We pay taxes, I think, I don't know.
okay. Thanks, John. All right, moving along. Resolution, 2024 budget. So let's see, 2 resolutions here, 24-191, 2024 budget to be read by title only at public meeting, 24-192, adoption of 2024 budget. Randy, do you want to comment?
Well, yeah, procedurally, we should do the resolution 191 so that we don't have to sit here for 2 hours and me read every single line item in the budget. This is required. Nowadays, obviously, it's much easier to see the budget. It's been online for a month. People have had the opportunity to look online, to get copies of it from the clerk's office and so forth, to take a good look at it. So if I will, Mayor, I would ask that the Township Committee consider 191 before we talk about the adoption of the budget and public hearing of the budget.
Okay. Any comments?
No, it's a good idea.
So can I have a motion to approve, well, no. We
You're
have a
saying-
public hearing.
Motion to read by title.
Read by
Motion to
title,
read by
191.
title.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Rai?
Yes.
Committeeman Veleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Okay, so, now, any comment from the dais on these two items?
Nope.
At this point, I'll open the public hearing to discuss these two resolutions. Anybody in the room? Oh, all right, seeing none. Anybody online, Megan?
Anybody on Zoom would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. I don't see anyone, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, so I'll close public hearing. Can I have a motion to approve resolutions 24-191
Yeah, we
and,
did
We already
one
did
now.
No, you already did
191.
that.
Just 192.
Doing adoption of the budget.
I'm sorry, 24-192?
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Rai?
Yes.
Committeeman Veleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Okay. Now, I gotta catch up here. All right, so consent agenda resolutions. So first, I think we have one that's not on here, 24-203, right, Megan?
Correct.
And what's the title of that?
Resolution ratifying summary of benefits, amending and extending collective bargaining agreements with PBA Local 322 and SOA Local 322.
And Randy, do you want to comment on what that is?
Yeah, that is basically the Township Committee agreeing to the PBA and SOA contracts. We've been under negotiations for this year. They have approved the agreement at their last meeting, which I believe was July 9th. And so we're ready to do our side, if you will. This resolution will give the authority for myself as the administrator and our labor council to go and draft up the detailed contract for the PBA and SOA and authorize the mayor and clerk to appropriately approve and sign the contracts.
Okay. All right. So first off, for 24-193 through 24-203, I think there's a number of abstentions. Brendan, I think
Yeah,
you've got
yeah,
a
I've got
few?
24-196, 24-201, and now 24-203.
What about 197?
197. I don't usually, I haven't abstained from those in the past,
Yeah, I
right,
don't
Jack?
think you need to.
That's never happened, okay.
All right, and I'll abstain from 24-199 and 24-200 since I'm an Elks member. Anybody here an Elks member? Vic? You're not a
Not-
member of the Elks Club, no?
Not currently,
Just
no.
Guy, okay. So I'm going to abstain from those two, Megan. Any others?
No, I'd just like to comment that it's nice to see the body on the grant was done in a timely manner this year.
Yes. Okay, all right. Would anybody like to pull a resolution? I think we just kind of pulled one. Outside of that, can I have a motion to approve resolutions 24-193 through 24-203 with the aforestated stated abstentions?
So moved.
Second.
Committeeman Dorsey?
Yes.
Committeeman Rai?
Yes.
Committeeman Veleza?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lavender?
Yes. Okay. All right, moving along, committee reports. Matt, let's start down at your end.
Let's see. Not much report, just that I I was asked by Shane, let everybody know that the National Night Out, one of the big sponsors this year, and it's been a big help for several years, is the Watch on Hills Municipal Alliance. So thank them for helping get this program going.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Brendan?
Nothing from me. I mean, other than just to kind of follow up on the National Night Out. I was at a meeting earlier this week. It was all the main stakeholders were there, and really, once again, Lisa Scanlon, our rec director, has really stepped up, and I think all the plans are there for another successful National Night Out. So we're looking forward to it.
And Mr. Ray, if I will, I think it's 6 to 9 on the first Tuesday, which is August 6th.
August 6th, yeah.
Okay, so vote out there. It's located here at the municipal building. Everybody come out, please.
Great. Vic?
All right. Are we ready, Megan? All right, the rec.
Yeah, Vic, your job is safe after the last meeting.
The rec update for July 17th is as follows. The heat has been challenging, but we've been keeping cool at Sterling Lake. Memberships are still available. Special August 1st through Labor Day memberships are available now. Pickleball continues to be a popular pastime for Long Hillers. Our registration system is working well, and the court is getting a lot of use. Sign up for the court times on Community Pass for free. More information on the website, along with a calendar so residents can see availability. Swim lessons with Lee continue with Lee into August. Registration is on Community Pass. All right, moving along to slides 4 and 5. Summer campers are having a lot of fun. Week 2, campers participated in a holiday mix-up week, which of course included trick-or-treat in July and finding gold coins that St. Patrick's Day leprechauns hid in the camp. During week 3, we visited Iceland, Spain, Ireland, Hawaii, and the Caribbean islands at camp during the Around the World themed week. This Thursday night, you won't want to miss the big band songs of the Silver Starlight Orchestra in the park. This 19-piece band will be here again to delight the audiences with an amazing presentation. Also, the Urban Cone will be on hand serving up ice-cold ice cream, including the Rockin' Rebel Sundays will be for sale. And finally, slide 7. Tuesday, August 6th, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Cantor Park will be the National Night Out. You will want to bring the whole family for a free family night out. Bring your picnic dinner and spread out on the grass field. Emergency services demonstrations. You'll get to see all the trucks. Long Hill Library will present Sing 1 at 6 p.m. and Sing 2 at 7:30 p.m. in the library, and we'll host lots of activities on the plaza. For Flight Rock, a classic rock band performs from 6 to 9 p.m. Bounce House, face painting, games, contests, relay races, Chamber of Commerce businesses will be present along the walkways. So much more. You don't want to miss this fun event. Thank you for our sponsor, the Watchung Hill Regional Municipal Alliance. And that concludes my rec liaison report. Beautification, the utility wraps will be underway over the next week or so. We had to make a few changes, but it's underway. And open space,
Can we get pictures of those utility wraps?
I think we could provide some
Maybe next
pictures for
meeting?
the next
Yeah.
meeting, right? No problem.
And then, again, who designed those wraps?
Some of them were, I think the majority were designed by Long Hill residents, either by photo, I think.
Most of them are photos.
Yeah, so photos taken by folks in Long Hill.
Yep.
Great. All right.
And open space is meeting on Monday. A lot of good things going on there, too.
Excellent. Anything else?
That'll be it.
All right. Administrators report. Randy.
Yes, I just wanted to go over some things with regard to the summer. Obviously, we've had a lot of heat, and I wanted to just discuss a little, if you will, maintenance. So when people are looking at the garbage, it's the heat obviously creates a lot of smell in the garbage and so forth. Be conscientious of what you throw in your garbage. Do not throw any liquids in the garbage. We have food waste composting, recycling at the Public Works Department. I would encourage everybody to go on our website and go onto the DPW for the recycling to see what we offer in recycling. You may be surprised at how far ahead we are of other municipalities and so forth. And also, a very good link that we have on ours is the Morris County Utilities Authority that will help guide you in what can be recycled, where you can recycle it. Even if we don't take it at our Public Works Department, county does offer hazardous waste recycling every so often. So please be good neighbors. Try not to throw stuff, especially liquids, into the garbage truck, because they do leak out of the garbage trucks, and during very hot days, it can leave an odor until it rains. So please take a look at that and be conscientious.
Yeah, I'll add to that too is, oftentimes, there may be garbage cans that have holes worn in the bottom of them, and those can leak as well. And so if a garbage can is defective, it should be replaced as well. Okay, anything else, Randy?
That's it.
All right, any discussion items? I think we covered a lot tonight. How about old or new business? I think we did a lot of announcements too. Any announcements that anybody would want to reiterate?
If you want to say a national night out, you'll have all the committee members saying it, so.
National Night Out. August 6th, Tuesday?
August 6th, Tuesday, right?
At what time?
6 to 9,
6 to 9. And where?
here at Municipal Building.
Canterfield?
Complex. Canterfield for the most part, yes.
Any special events, people parachuting out of skies, firework, anything like that?
Not like that. We have a band, good band,
We have
very
a
good
band,
band,
okay.
and some kid activities that,
Movie, I think.
and kid movie, kid activities. So
Refreshments?
there will be refreshments, yes,
And a good time will be had by all.
absolutely.
Okay, that's all we need to know. Brendan, anything you want to add to that?
No, I'm good.
All right. All right, so with nothing else, I'm going to open the meeting to the public. Remarks and statements pertaining to any matter, comments and remarks will be limited to 3 minutes. Feel free to come up. Please state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Jessica Alon, and I live in Gillette. This is more of a planning board matter, but I know that the planning board does not have a time for open public comments, and I know several of you are on the planning board. And it's a situation that I think you should all actually be aware of. Vic, I just want to let you know this does not pertain to you, although it might pertain to a piece of property that you formerly own, so I don't believe you need to recuse yourself from this comment, and I actually think it would be beneficial for you to hear. So to get to my point, I'm going to try and as quickly as possible just go through some factual history. So in May 2022, there was a planning board meeting about a major subdivision next to my property that runs the entire length of my property. We had approximately 35 neighbors attend to object to the plan, and after 4 hours of testimony and questions from the public, the planning board was in disagreement with the plan and asked the property owner to come back with a new plan. September 2022, there was another meeting with approximately 25 residents, again in attendance, objecting with concerns. After about 2 hours at the planning board meeting, the township engineer, Samantha Anello, who was the engineer at the time, and the public continued to find many flaws in the plan. In particular, there were significant concerns from the planning board, the township engineer, and my husband and I regarding the significant flooding that would occur on our property if the plan passed. Following the September 2022 meeting, my husband and I began consulting an attorney and hired a private engineer who specializes in stormwater management. At that point, we began to have regular meetings with the property owner and the engineer for the project. Our private engineer provided many plan improvements that would protect our property from significant flooding. In 2023, the plan went before the planning board again. It was again a 3-hour meeting, and there were a host of questions and comments from the public, and much discussion from the planning board and the township engineer. The planning board, the township engineer, and my husband were finally satisfied that the plan would protect our property from flooding. All plan improvements that our private expert engineer provided were accepted and memorialized in the final resolution as conditions for approval for the variances. So fast forward to today. The property was sold several weeks back. The contractor who owns the property submitted new plot plans to the planning board. Many of the strategies that were in place to stop water from flowing onto our property were removed from the new plan. The new township engineer, who is not a part of the many hours of review, the questions, the testimony approved, the questions and the testimony approved the new plans without knowing any backstory. He has no idea that we were consulting with an attorney and still are. He has no idea that we personally hired an engineer who specializes in stormwater management to help design the plan. He had no idea that the planning board was completely dissatisfied with the plan until our engineer's suggestions were taken into account and included in the plan. And with one stamp of approval, many of the things that satisfied us, the planning board, and our engineer were all thrown out the window, leading to potential flooding for our property. So I don't think that these 17 variances for this property would have been approved if they had not put in all of these conditions to stop the flooding. So those were complete conditions of approval. Like, yes, you can have your, I think it was 17, I don't remember, 17 variances, but you need to do X, Y, and Z to stop the water from coming onto our property. And now those conditions have been removed, and we still have 17 variances. So the entire process is like completely asinine that you all had, and I know that you're not aware of this, but this is why I'm making you aware of it. That you had your planning board volunteers waste hours upon hours upon hours of time sitting here listening to testimony, questions, discussions. You wasted money on your engineer, on your planner, on your attorney, all for this to be thrown out the window.
If I can say, it would probably be me specifically who spent that money on all
Well,
those
yes, I also think it's not fair to, again, the prior property owner who worked so hard to not, it wasn't appeasing us, it was doing the right thing and revising and revising and revising. And he knows as well as anyone who was aware of the situation, the planning board was extremely dissatisfied with the plan until all of those water mitigation efforts were put into place. So now you had 35 residents, angry at these meetings about this plan, and finally people were satisfied. I spent my own hard-earned money to hire an engineer to better this plan, and now it all went out the window.
Okay,
So my question to you is, who's now liable when my property floods out, when my neighbor's property floods out, when these conditions of approval were thrown out the window and we still have 17 variances?
So can I ask you a few questions?
Absolutely.
All right, because I don't even think this has come in front of the planning board yet.
It's not going to.
Right.
It's all done. It's done. One stamp of approval from the township engineer. He approved it and changed it. That was it.
This is
Because
the
there's
first
no
I'm hearing of
variance.
it, by the way.
I know.
swear to
I know
you.
no one's heard about it, and that's why I felt like I had to come here tonight.
And so, Randy,
Because as
is
you
there...
can see, makes me
I
very
know,
angry.
I know. Let's sort it out together, because, I can definitely feel your frustration with this. So, Randy, is there any kind of an appeal process for something like this? But Jessica obviously has a point.
Well, my understanding is that any project moving forward on that property has to meet the planning board.
Yeah.
Site plan.
Site plan approvals.
Yeah.
Right.
So, so whatever has been approved by the planning board, they have to meet, or they call it resolution compliance. That
Yes.
they whatever's built there, whatever they do there, has to meet those compliances. So, again, I'm not aware of this, but
Can I just give
I
like a few
have-
examples
I-
of what they've thrown out the window? Because I know some of you guys are on the planning board, so it might help.
Before you go there, so who was the person that stamped it? Was it Joe Vooch?
Yes.
Okay. And so, Randy, I mean, is it possible to kind of put your thumb on this and slow it down? And
I mean, it's done. It's done. It's not slowing down. It's done.
Just so we're clear, there were stipulations in the resolution from the
Yes.
planning board.
So So
And
like
those
one
were-
example, there was a lot of critical areas and steep slopes on the property. So one thing that we had asked for was in an area of steep slope, it's a 15-foot drop from gates to my property. So all that water is gonna come flooding down onto my property when it rains. As Vic knows, it was like a forest. Now we're putting 2 4,000 square foot houses there. So we had asked for staggered walls with planters so that as the water fell, it would fall into the planter and it would absorb, fall into the next planter, absorb, and not flood down. Those walls are gone.
Right,
We-
but was that memorialized in the resolution?
Yes.
Yeah, then I think Randy can talk to
Yeah.
the engineer,
might not even
because
know.
as has been said numerous times, that the engineer can't overrule conditions
he-
that are in the
yeah.
memorializing resolution.
We had
So
a
it's no longer
berm, we had a
planning board
berm and
matter.
a swale. We asked for riprap in front of the swale.
I remember it all
I know.
distinctly. The-
I know more about berms and swales and, sheet
riprap
flow than I've
across
ever
the
wanted
entire
to know.
back of the property, by the way.
Right.
So let's kind of move towards, fixing this. So has any work started?
The day after closing, they basically tore down everything on the property, and now it's been sitting for 3 weeks. But I don't even think that's right, because there was something in the resolution saying only 1,000 square feet of critical area were to be disturbed at a time, and they basically took down like 3/4 of the property. So I already think that that's not right.
So let's do this. Randy, if you could take an action item to connect with Joe.
Yep.
Right, connect with Deb, kind of piece the pieces together, the site plan, what Joe's talking about.
Well, the engineer's on vacation this week, but I'll start with Ms. Coons tomorrow.
Right, and I think, does the construction official, can he slow things down as well?
Well, again, I doubt they even have permits from the construction official yet.
Right,
Because they would have
They
to,
wouldn't.
they would have to supply the plans for the house. Remember, the construction official does not control outside. They control the building and the inside.
so nothing should be happening if there's no permits issued.
They could do work on the property, but they can't start building a house or anything until permits.
Can
are
they
done.
start digging?
If it's related to, again, resolution compliance,
Yep.
yes.
I believe everything was applied for, though, already. Everything's applied for
And it
ready,
may have
ready to
been.
go. And I was also,
Now, the construction official can deny a permit based on prior approvals. If in fact
Correct.
the developer is not complying with the planning board conditions, the construction official can withhold issuance of the construction permits.
That is correct.
and I was
So-
under the impression that in order to do the project and have it approved, it had to be done like we all agreed to. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
God's honest
I mean,
truth.
there's.
It depends on the language of the resolution.
I mean, I'm not
So
sure.
I think that's
I'm
gonna
not
be-
sure, and I think Joe Vucci does a great job. I'm not, again, but this is the first I'm hearing of
If
it.
this has slipped
I
through
mean,
the
it's
cracks,
all
we have to fix it.
unfolded with, you closed 2 weeks ago. I opened the plans last week, so we just saw the plans.
So Jessica, why don't we proceed this way? Randy's going to start on this tomorrow. Why don't you stay in touch with him, let's say on a daily basis, every 2 days, starting tomorrow, like end of day, find out what happened. And let's just track this and find out where it went off the rails.
Okay, and I have contacted the property owner on my own and said we need to see X, Y, and Z back in these plans.
Yeah.
We'll honor that.
If something's
Hopefully he
happening
honors
that shouldn't be happening, then we have to stop it happening. That's what it comes down to. And it's good that you're coming in here, right, rather than firing off an email. So we appreciate that.
Yes, or social media. I figured this was
Or social media.
the place to start.
And
Well,
it's
thank
no
you very
longer a
much.
planning board
Well,
matter.
thank you.
Right.
Since
It's no
they've
longer a
given
planning board
approval.
matter, so you came to the
You're in
right place.
Well, right, and I know there's no way to contact the planning board without going through you first. So it
Yeah.
felt like this was just the right avenue to,
Yeah.
go about it.
All right, so you're going to stay talking to Randy.
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, please state your name and address.
My name is Robert Coletta, and I live in Berkeley Heights. She's my daughter. I don't want to beat this up. Vic, can I call you Vic? Is that of
course, yes.
We had meetings on his property and Jessica's property. Everything was agreed upon. I mean, we were not trying to hurt him. He knew that. We weren't, even the new builder said when I met him one day, he was putting up a silt filter. He had cleared all the land and didn't put a silt filter up. So Jessica pushed him. He came out on 4th of July, I think it was, and put a silt filter up. But he says, I saved a lot of money on this project. That's what he said. I saved a lot of money. I got rid of all the walls. I got rid of the swale. I got rid of, he admitted it, but he had no clue what went on, like your engineer. He had no clue what went on. We met several times, and we assured Vic that we were going to work with him. He assured that we were going to, he was going to work with us. So somehow this process is flawed.
Right.
It's definitely flawed.
There's
this
two
may have
things
been the
going on
first
here,
time
Bob.
this has ever
There's-
happened. In
There's,
this.
there's fixing this, but then also getting the root cause as to why it
Exactly.
happened. Yep, I'm
And
with you.
I don't think, I'm an architect, I don't think Jeff Heiss is going to be able to stop anything because there's no construction of anything. There's no foundations, there's no retaining walls, there's nothing. So all it is landscaping, which is going to be, when I say landscaping, grading, topographical stuff, is all going to be in the engineer's hands. Jeff is out of it. He's out of the picture.
All right.
So from that standpoint, he's not going to be able to do anything,
All right. Well,
So for what it's worth, I mean, maybe Vic, you were a previous owner, maybe you become the liaison or something to help us, We had the relationship and a good relationship, So for what it's worth, I'm appalled by it. Like I said, I've been in the business for a few years, to say the least, and I've never seen anything like this before, ever,
all right. We're going to get to the bottom of it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi. Please state your name and address, please.
Kathleen Zorlo, 8 Doherty Avenue, Gillette, New Jersey. Thank you for hearing us tonight. I truly appreciate that. To put this in perspective, you've got a rectangle. Gates Avenue development, Jessica's property, and we are right behind her, so we're further down than she is. So we have a very vested interest in this. I do want to thank you for acknowledging something that, as a 76-year-old woman, I was struggling with my memory over this, because I was definitely under the impression when we left planning board meetings that whoever purchased that property in the future would have to abide by the agreement that was struck with Mr. Veleza, who was very accommodating of all of us. So thank you for reinforcing the fact that I'm not totally losing it yet. I appreciate that. And I guess I'm a little bit calmer at my age than maybe I would have been younger. But I came in here ready to say, I just want to know who's liable for this if I have property damage. But I am very gratified by the fact that you appear to be taking this seriously, and you are going to address it and hopefully come to a resolution that is very helpful. The Alans are the best neighbors in the world, and I have watched on some occasions when the water has poured down onto their property. So I just want to thank you all for that.
We all live here. We all
Thank
have
you.
the same kind of thing, so thank you. Okay. Come on back up, Chuck.
Charles Arenowitz Millington. 2 comments tonight, no questions. First comment, I wanted to comment on candidate petitions submitted for Township Committee. In last year's primary, 2 candidates had 2 representatives solicit signatures. There's no problem doing that. But the problem arises that the signatures gathered by those 2 individuals were never attested to in front of a notary public. These were invalid petitions, and they were never challenged. This past primary, 2024. Only signature pages were left in mailboxes without any of the other petition pages. Use of the mailboxes, other than for U.S. mail, is a federal offense. Again, these invalid petitions, this invalid petition was never challenged. So we've got two sets of petitions, maybe 3, over the last year and a half that were never challenged. However, in June 2024, A petition for township committee was filed by an independent, Frank Liberato. The petition had a clerical error by the notary public. Now, after the prior petitions weren't challenged, this petition was challenged by Mayor Patricia. I asked the Long Hill Township voters, where is the justice in this township to let the voters decide the elections instead of petition challenges? Comment number 2. 11 years ago, comment number 2 goes on, 574-24 ordinance. 11 years ago, the position of captain of the Long Hill Township Police Department was eliminated. Based upon this proposed ordinance of 574-24, we're going to reestablish the position of captain. And the way you read tonight, we're going to have 3 lieutenants. So we've got a director of public safety reporting to the township administrator. We've got, I guess, a captain now reporting directly to the director of public safety. Then we've got 3 lieutenants. And then we've got 8 sergeants. If you pass this ordinance on whenever it is, on August, I'd like you to consider the fact we've got some straight line management positions and levels of management I don't think we need. We didn't need them 11 years ago. Nothing's much changed. We don't need them now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Anybody else like to make a comment in the courtroom? Would anybody online like to comment?
Anybody on Zoom would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. I don't see anyone, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, I'm going to close public hearing. I will make a comment. Just because a position has been created by ordinance does not mean that that position will be filled. And so often we create positions so that we have flexibility. Hiring recommendations go up to the committee who either says yes or no. So, with that said, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.